Women's Day, I distributed some expensive sanitary pads at the company, but an unmarried male colleague took away more than half of an entire box. I stopped him. I explained that this is a benefit for the women in the company. He loudly complained. He said it was the company's problem. It's completely unfair. Why not celebrate Men's Day? Give them some cigars and Mautai. The next day, he spread rumors in the company that I liked him. After I exposed him, he shouted angrily, "You gold digger. You know what my position is? I'm going to fire you." I just smiled slightly at him. Then I said, "There's no need to say anymore. Please leave our startup park on Women's Day." As the HR of the company, I specially bought a box of expensive sanitary pads to distribute to the female employees as a benefit. Wow, this brand is quite famous abroad. Each pack costs dozens of yuan. I wanted to try it before, but I thought it was a bit expensive. Actually, those that cost around 10 yuan are already sufficient. That's really great. The company is surprisingly generous. Not only did they organize a party, but they also gave us such good sanitary pads. I can save money next month. I really want to message my best friend right away to let her see this and save a few for her to try. The female colleagues happily walked away with the sanitary pads. I'm quite pleased as well. The office is filled with the fragrance of women. Some female colleagues are absent today. There are almost a whole box left. Suddenly, a male voice was heard, with a hint of hair oil scent. Excuse me. Ryan from the tech department came over, carrying a big garbage bag. He looked a bit impatient. He pushed aside the person at the front. I still haven't figured out what he wants to do. He started putting the sanitary pads into the trash bag. "Ryan, these are the sanitary pads given out on International Women's Day. Are you a girl? How could you take them?" I grabbed Ryan's hand. Everyone knows he has a tendency to be a bit stingy, but I think he is at least a reasonable person. At first, I just wanted to make a joke. I didn't expect that. He actually forcefully shook off my hand, and he hit me hard. My hand immediately turned red. It hurt so much that I couldn't help but cry out, "You're just a broke person. I'm an important member of the company's technical department. Things should prioritize me." He said, "It's company funding. What does it have to do with you?" I thought to myself, this isn't company funding, although the company only allocated 1,000 yuan as the budget for International Women's Day activities. But there are so many female colleagues. That 1,000 yuan is at most just enough for a meal. So I took out 5,000 yuan myself. I bought a lot of sanitary pads. In the past, I basically spent money every time during events, but now I'm keeping a low profile at work. I just want to be an ordinary person. I don't want to say right from the start that I spent money. It feels a bit silly. There are 2 female colleagues who haven't left yet and can't stand it. "Ryan, how can you treat girls like this? Just don't get involved with the Women's Day event budget." "Yeah, and you don't even have a partner. What's the point of holding on to this?" The female colleagues started expressing their dissatisfaction with Ryan. His already frustrated face immediately turned red. There were also red blood vessels showing in his tired eyes. "Why are you girls so petty? I'm going to take it today. What's wrong? Isn't my future wife also a woman? I'm just preparing for her." Listening to what he said, I can't help but want to laugh. He asked, "Where is your future wife?" I just responded by saying, "These benefits are provided by the company. Does your wife count in that? There is a limit on the quantity. What about the fact that you've already taken from other female colleagues?" I still want to talk to him about reason. Ryan shouted loudly at the area where the male colleagues gathered. "Benefits issued by the company. Why can't we enjoy them? Is this the company or the parent company? It's simply unfair. Why not think about giving us male employees a holiday too? How about sending some cigars and Mautai? What's the use of buying such expensive sanitary pads? I think you guys are deliberately reporting such a high number. Is the extra money actually taken by you? Using sanitary pads is no better than just using a piece of cloth. Women in the past managed just fine without them, thinking of themselves as so special." As soon as he finished speaking, the men who were chatting lively suddenly fell silent. Then a silver spoon, belonging to someone unknown, hit a glass. It made a crisp sound. It seemed to support Ryan's point of view. I'm feeling very uncomfortable inside. "Ryan, your bill is here. If you think I used your money, then go ahead and sue me. And our company's benefits are quite good. The extra costs for smoking and drinking by male colleagues during gatherings. We never counted that against anyone. And those shared benefits, you can always get 2 portions. We have never asked you to pay extra. It's all included in everyone's activity fund. One shouldn't be so selfish. The two female colleagues nearby are also quite dissatisfied, but they are in a hurry to go home. They just casually scolded a bit and left. Emily, it's because you're a woman. I don't want to get physical with you, but don't go too far. Ryan saw that I had no one to support me and became even more brazen. Brother Ryan, women can be quite unreasonable at times, and their thinking is rather simple. I'm thinking, is she trying to get your attention after all? Your salary is several times hers. At this moment, a man suddenly spoke up. Ryan listened. A mischievous smile gradually appeared on his face. Emily, you wouldn't want to date me, would you? I think you're not bad-looking. I heard you're a local from New York, but your salary is indeed a bit low. I can earn $50,000 a month if you want to be my girlfriend. Then you'll have to transfer the house to me. I might consider it. His gaze kept sizing me up. He even wanted to reach out and touch me. I saw his confident demeanor. I felt a bit disgusted inside. I really don't know where he got his confidence from. He actually thought I would want to date him, transfer the house to him. That's simply daydreaming. Why aren't you talking? Am I right, since that's the case? Then treat me to a meal today, but it must be at a fancy restaurant. Otherwise, I really don't want to go. He continued to say some annoying things, completely disregarding others' feelings. Who gave you the courage to say those words? Someone like you. Even if you offered me more money, I still don't want to have dinner with you. I imitated him and looked him up and down, making constant tusk-tusk sounds, clearly showing that I dislike him. Ryan heard this. Furious, he clenched his fists. A bit angry, then he glanced at those who were watching the commotion, immediately straightened his posture. His eyes sparkled with light. About those money-loving women. I'm really not interested. What she said revolved around money. She wants me to give her money in her dreams. I don't think highly of her at all. I'm too lazy to pay her any attention. Snatched the sanitary napkin from her hand, put it in the locker. It's better to let me hold it myself. Wait until I have a girlfriend. Naturally, I will give it to her. She's really a waste of money, he muttered quietly. I quickly ran out of the company. I feel uncomfortable even being with someone like that for a second. The next day, when I just arrived at the company, I found everyone looking at me in an unusual way. I took out sanitary pads for the colleagues who didn't come yesterday. At the same time, I asked, what exactly happened, Emily? Do you really like Ryan from the tech department? Ryan told us. You always seem particularly enthusiastic about him. Emily, you can't really think that, can you? I was a bit confused after hearing that. When have I ever been enthusiastic about Ryan? Ryan has a bad reputation in the company. Everyone was surprised when they heard this news. When I first joined the company, Ryan always thought highly of himself. He claimed to be a technical talent. He also looked down on women's performance in the workplace. That day, the receptionist Zaya Woyan suddenly got her period. She was curled up on the sofa in pain. His face is pale. I'm busy making her brown sugar water. Ryan, come out and serve tea. I witnessed this scene. Just say it. You guys are just making excuses to be lazy. My mom never shows me any affection. Stop pretending. No one will sympathize with you. Little Yun took the brown sugar water from my hand, so angry that I was shaking. I really wanted to splash the water on him. One time, he didn't clock in for work. When the finance department asked him to confirm his attendance, he directly exploded in anger. He said, "Why are you women so bad at math? Can you at least calculate my salary correctly? If it's short by even a cent, I'm going to report you to HR for dismissal. I'm a key employee of the company. Even if I'm late or leave early in the future, you still have to mark me as present. Understand, many women in the company are very dissatisfied with him, but there's nothing they can do, because as long as he doesn't resign, no company will compensate to dismiss him over these minor issues. Moreover, our company's benefits are great. No one would be foolish enough to quit over these matters. Everyone can only put up with him. I was just about to go find Ryan. I didn't expect he would come himself, to see me. His gaze is a bit ambiguous. He even brought an egg and soy milk. Here you go. This is my breakfast. I couldn't bear to eat it. He shyly placed the items on my desk. Everyone in the company is looking over at us. I saw that when he ate alone, it wasn't just a simple egg and soy milk. He wanted to pack up everything from the breakfast shop downstairs. Ryan, why did you speak ill of me at the company? When have I ever treated you especially well? I like you. Ryan still has that cheeky smile on his face. Emily, stop pretending. I thought about what you said yesterday for a long time. Why do you never mind when I take more things? Is it because you already consider me family? What's mine is yours. You really are a good woman who knows how to be frugal. A few male colleagues who usually don't talk much started to chat. I noticed Emily made coffee for Ryan and even personally delivered it to his desk. Didn't she want Ryan to notice her yesterday? Her tone sounded a bit flirtatious. Ryan saw someone explaining something to him. He looked at me more intently, as if I had already captivated him. He wants to control me however he likes. Emily, don't be angry anymore if you like me. I won't let you down either. I hope you can take good care of my parents. Hurry up and eat my loving breakfast. This way you save on breakfast money. But there won't be my help for lunch. Don't be too greedy. Some colleagues who initially didn't believe it that day. Now they also started to look at me curiously. It makes me a bit uncomfortable. The last time I made coffee, Ryan sent me a message asking for help because he is going to meet with the leader. I didn't see him after I made the coffee. I just put the coffee on his desk. The message is also recorded. Yesterday, Ryan received the Women's Day benefits. I stopped him. There were other people and cameras present at the time. You all should have some limits when spreading rumors. And since you know you always take company items, then you should quickly return them. I remember it very clearly. I glanced at the breakfast he prepared for me on the table again. Sorry, I preferred drinking coffee. I shook the cup of coffee that cost over $40. Seeing that I didn't want to accept it, Ryan angrily snatched the breakfast off my desk. Emily, you know your salary well, right? Drinking such expensive coffee really feels a bit extravagant. Drinking such expensive coffee really feels a bit extravagant. And, are you intentionally trying to make me uncomfortable? You look down on me. I looked at Ryan's face. I couldn't help but snicker. $40 is nothing to me. It's simply insignificant. That's right. I just looked down on you and some male colleagues in the company. I had just finished speaking. Everyone in the office immediately started whispering. Some male colleagues were so angry they turned red. They looked like they wanted to come over and slap me. Emily, don't be ignorant of the rules. You know who I am. Ryan's face was as red as liver. His fingers were cracking as he squeezed them. He walked towards me. Of course I know who he is. After all, my family has investigated everyone in the company, just in case there are any unsafe people. Michael is my brother-in-law. Do you believe it? I'll call him right now. Let him tell you to leave. The head of this branch is Michael. Many people on site were surprised to hear this news. What? So Michael is her brother-in-law? I don't remember ever having offended Ryan before. Fortunately, I didn't argue with Ryan back then. Otherwise, I might have been fired. I didn't expect Ryan to have such a powerful background. No wonder she was able to take office so easily. She hardly works every day. Yet she earns over $50,000 in salary. Everyone is talking about Ryan's identity. Many people feel lucky that they haven't offended her. At this moment, Ryan looked up. She looked at me with some disdain. Now you know how powerful I am. If you're willing to bow down and ask me to let you go, I might consider letting you continue working at this company. However, your salary might be reduced by $1,000. Consider it a punishment for offending me. If you can be obedient in the future and follow my arrangements, I might reconsider raising your salary back. Actually, my original salary was only $5,000. Clerical salaries have always been like this. $1,000 less. That's really a bit too much. A sister is nervously holding my hand. Emily, it's really hard to find a job now. Why not just keep a low profile? After all, no one knows he's Michael's brother-in-law. Yeah, Emily, forget it. Just apologize to him. Try to avoid contact with him in the future. A person who has always opposed me is looking at me strangely from the side. Emily, what a fool. These rich people don't even understand how to pursue someone. She actually wants to be his girlfriend. That's much better than working for the rest of your life. I looked at her coldly. Then why don't you go give it a try? That guy seems to have someone backing him up. He's starting to become more confident. Some people always look down on others, thinking they're so important. In the end, that gold digger didn't expect to miss out on someone who could help her. I wonder if she'll feel uneasy at night. Haha, so straightforward. Ryan, you're like a straightforward leading man. You stood up for us men. This kind of woman needs to be made to understand. If she refuses to apologize, then let her leave. And make sure Michael doesn't use her in the industry anymore. Women, after all, there are plenty of opportunities to make money. Maybe one day I'll run into her on a small road. Haha, I frowned while listening to their boring jokes. I never expected that. I thought only Ryan was annoying. Turns out the situation here has been terrible for a long time. I took out my phone. Michael is your brother-in-law, right? Then I really want to see. I called him. Is he firing you? Or is he firing me? Ryan looked at me with disdain. Don't you know what brother-in-law means? Michael is my older sister's husband. Do you think he would fire me for you? Are you his mistress? Ryan seems to think he has discovered some big secret. Ask me again. You can't really be my sister-in-law's mistress. Can you? As soon as the words were spoken, a woman walked in through the door. She looks somewhat like Ryan, but she appears more refined. All her clothes are designer brands. The scent of her perfume is overwhelming. What mistress? When Ryan saw that person, it was as if he saw a savior. He immediately rushed over in 3 steps. Sis, this girl really loves money. She's intentionally seducing me. I just took some things from home, but she said I stole company property. She even wanted to send me to prison. Just now she said she would have my brother-in-law fire me. She can't be my brother-in-law's affair. Can she? Ryan really twists the facts. Mistress, actually, you are Michael's affair. I really searched everywhere and couldn't find it. Never expected it to be right in the company. I can't help but want to hit her. She completely ignores what Ryan said earlier. She treats me like a mistress. It looks like she's about to hit me. I grabbed her wrist. She was instantly immobilized. Let go of me. You are something else. Just watch, I'll make you pay for this. She became extremely agitated. Her eyes were filled with anger. I did not hesitate to slap her. This is how you should deal with impulsive people. How dare you hit my sister? You are done for. Not only will I get my brother-in-law to fire you, I will also report you. You'll have to face the consequences. I kicked at Ryan, who was sneaking up on me. This guy really deserves retribution. The woman wanted to throw her Hermes bag at me. I threw the bag directly on the ground. The bag rolled on the ground for 2 laps. It made a loud noise. You know how expensive this bag is? It's worth $500,000. Can you really afford it in your lifetime? You owe me money. It's only $500,000. Isn't that as easy as breathing? I make such a fuss. I didn't say anything. Low-key looking for Michael's phone number. I never save useless people's numbers in my phone. It makes it a bit tricky for me to find. Now do you understand fear? $500,000 could cost you your life. You understand now. The people in the company automatically made some space, leaving the 3 of us confronting each other in the middle. I'm very disappointed in Michael. I shouldn't have let him become the branch manager from the start. I said softly. Then I dialed Michael's number. It's really quite funny. What gives you the right to manage a company's president? Isn't this a joke? It's surprising that a company staff member has such thoughts. What qualifications do you have? Ryan still wouldn't give up, continuing to mock me, expecting me to show an unhappy expression. But I calmly warned him again. I advise you to watch your words now. Otherwise, you might regret it. I want to let you know my identity. You're not qualified for that. I initially wanted to reveal my identity, but I feel it's unnecessary for these people. I didn't expect it would be not just Ryan. Even the people from the company couldn't help but laugh. Oh dear, to think such a small matter would bring up identities. Haha, your most important task now is to uninstall the Orange Novel app. Do you understand? If you have some achievements, you might suddenly be transferred to the company like Ryan, doing nothing every day and still getting paid. Got it, you're quite good at pretending. There are 2 men supporting Ryan nearby. Little girl, don't think that just because you seduced Michael, he will protect you. I am his legal wife. What are you even? Ryan's sister stared at me with anger. Emily, stop trying to show off. These people are simply not opponents for ordinary folks like us. If you really can't hold on any longer, then just quit and go back home. Emily, I can lend you some money. That $500,000 is no small amount. You better not provoke them again. I glanced at them. I felt a bit of comfort inside. It turns out that the effort in this company still pays off. Emily, you've really gotten yourself into big trouble now. Are you still trying to hide it? Let's see what happens to you in the end. Another person jumped out to cause trouble. I gave her a sidelong glance. I couldn't even get through to Michael's phone. They probably don't even know who you are. The group of guys started to jeer again. How about I call my brother-in-law? Let's see if we can get him to help. Listening to their mockery, I was getting a bit annoyed too. This should be Michael's phone. Right. I don't think I dialed it wrong, I nodded. Then you can go ahead and call. Ryan laughed even louder. I knew you were just pretending to be calm. He dialed Michael's number. After the call connected, he shot me a provocative glance. My good sister held my hand tighter and tighter. I could feel the sweat in her palm. I signaled her to relax with my eyes. Hey, brother-in-law, do you know Emily from our company? She said if she called you, you would have me fired. Ryan finished speaking. He switched to speakerphone. A deep male voice came through the phone. "This is David. Michael is in a meeting." Ryan seemed to have some impression of him. "David, bro. It's me, Little Chen. I was bullied by someone in HR today. Her name is Emily. She said her background is impressive. I was just about to ask my brother-in-law for help." As Ryan spoke, he looked at me. "What, Emily? I had never even heard of this person before. Just fire her directly. Your brother-in-law won't blame you anyway." People around are a bit confused. David is the head of another branch. He is having a meeting with my brother. He also said he doesn't know any Emily. Let's hurry and leave. Ryan came over to me. He made a mess on my desk. Everything fell to the ground. It made a loud noise. He even stepped on it a few times. He looked pleased with the corners of his mouth lifted. I looked at him. I found it a bit amusing. He twitched when I stared at him, but he quickly pretended to be indifferent. "Since we can't find Michael, our bodyguard and the doorman should be able to contact him. Everyone come here. Someone wants me to leave. They even want to hit me." Not long after, a dozen bodyguards and a few security guards stood at the company entrance. They marched in unison. They all walked in together. "Miss." This call echoed throughout the entire floor. Everyone in the company is feeling very shocked. Emily can't really have a background, right? There are actually so many bodyguards. This is really surprising. Today has truly opened my eyes. First, I found out that Ryan is the boss's relative. That surprised me for a while. Now I discover that an unassuming HR person is actually a young lady from a wealthy family. Am I the only ordinary person here? What a coincidence. Didn't you say I was the luckiest person? Ryan seems a bit incredulous, but he quickly adjusted. This was a last-minute online invitation, right? This must cost quite a bit, right? He looked at the other colleagues. You think it's possible? How can someone in HR have such great abilities? Why not just be my brother-in-law's boss directly? Instead, she's still here earning $5,000 a month. After saying that, he took a step closer to me. A bodyguard stopped him. "Oh, this really looks the part. Brothers, stop pretending." He doesn't believe it. He stepped forward. "He wants to touch me." The bodyguard directly threw him to the ground. Samantha shouted loudly upon seeing this. "He also wants to come and hit me. I warned you. Don't approach our young lady." I smiled lightly. These two might threaten my safety. Let's send them to the police station. The bodyguards quickly subdued them. "What are you doing? This is a society governed by law. I'm going to call the police to arrest you." Ryan's face turned red with anger. He was still shouting. "Do you know my brother-in-law is the owner of this company? Do you security guards want to lose your jobs?" Samantha was also struggling desperately. "I'll have my husband send you all to prison. You are really going too far." I just shrugged. "Don't be anxious. Am I not sending you to the police station? I already told you before. Don't provoke me. It doesn't matter who your brother-in-law is. You can't afford to provoke me. Do you understand?" Ryan saw that I was serious. "Who exactly are you?" I squatted down, squinting my eyes. "I mentioned this before. My status is not something you can compare to." Suddenly, the phone rang with a jingling sound. Ryan's phone rang in his pocket. I told the bodyguard to let him go, so he could answer the phone. Ryan just took out his phone. He smiled happily when he saw the name on the screen. "Brother-in-law, you should hurry back to the company. My sister and I can't take it anymore. What's going on with your employees? Do they not take you seriously at all?" Michael heard this line. His tone was urgent. I heard David say that. "I'll go back right away." Although one employee just left casually. "But whatever you do, don't lay a hand on that, Emily." Ryan was still a bit uneasy when he heard the earlier discussion, but when he heard the last name mentioned, he immediately became tense. "Brother-in-law, what's wrong with Emily?" Ryan swallowed hard. His heart began to race. I chuckled softly. I called the bodyguard to move a chair for me to sit down. "Since Michael is coming back, let's see what happens here." Michael did not respond to Ryan. The call had already ended. Ryan was a bit nervous. He tightly held onto Samantha. "Sis, we won't get into trouble, right? What did brother-in-law mean by that? It can't really be that we can't lay a hand on Emily, right?" Samantha felt a bit confused at that moment. She had just joined the company. Ryan said I was her husband's lover. She didn't think too much about it, seeing that Michael might let his lover stay in the company. She rushed at me without thinking clearly. Now Ryan had called Michael. Michael specifically emphasized not to touch me. She gradually couldn't figure out what was happening. She began to feel a bit panicked inside. They were tightly nestled together, quietly waiting for Michael to return. I dozed off a bit in the chair. Before long, Michael pushed open the glass door of the company. seeing a room full of bodyguards and my wife's younger brother huddled on the ground. He seemed a bit at a loss. I turned my chair around, walked out from the front desk. Michael, can I ask you a question? If you had to choose between firing me and Ryan, who would you choose? Michael saw our situation. He understood immediately. He immediately bent down and walked over to me. He whispered, "Miss, please don't call me Michael. I'm truly unworthy of that. He must be planning to fire Ryan. What did Ryan do to upset you?" I just glanced at him. His forehead started to sweat. The flattering expression on his face became more obvious. Colleagues on site couldn't help but marvel. Oh my, what a young lady. Even the CEO of the company has to lower their voice. It seems her background is not simple. I have to post such an exciting scene online. Who can understand it? This is truly a thought-provoking occasion. The gentlemen who were shouting just now. Why is everyone quiet now? They say others only care about money, but it turns out they really have quite a bit of wealth at home. The people who blindly criticized me earlier now have bad expressions. Their lips are even trembling. They originally wanted to speak up. Now they're quietly retreating. They want to reduce their presence. Ryan and Samantha are also stunned there. Michael, did David not tell you, your brother-in-law? He's preparing to fire me, relying on your status as his brother-in-law to act arrogantly here. He even wants me to be his girlfriend. But your wife says I'm the mistress. She even wants to hit me. What do you think? Michael looks a bit scared. I'm afraid to speak. Go stand next to Ryan first. Suddenly, a slap landed on Ryan's face. How did I tell you back then? Don't use my identity to do bad things. What did you promise at that time? Original text. I'll kill you. Michael's hands were flying left and right. But Ryan didn't even dare to fight back. He was left seeing stars from Michael's blows. Hastily, he grabbed his sister Samantha for help. But Samantha quickly pushed Ryan away. Miss Emily, I didn't mean to, right? I really can't take it anymore. Michael's strikes were very fast. Ryan didn't even have the courage to fight back. He could only see stars. So she hurried to ask her sister Samantha for help. Unexpectedly, Samantha directly pushed Ryan away. Miss Emily, I didn't do it on purpose. It was Ryan who said it. She said you are the mistress. I was misunderstood too. Could you be a little more generous, please? I still want to say something. Michael, isn't your behavior as a general manager a bit too casual? You let anyone into the company. I think you might not be managing very well. Do you no longer want to sit in this position? Michael, hurry up and beg for mercy. Miss, it was my mistake to bring him in. I will send him to the countryside, so he won't appear in front of you again. Do you think this is acceptable? No one wants to lose the opportunity to work here. After all, this entrepreneurial park was built by my family, and this company belongs to our family partner. The benefits are much better than other companies, not to mention the 4 days on, 3 days off schedule. The year-end bonuses are also very generous. There are employees who work here until retirement. They can earn about $40,000 to $50,000 each month. Who would want to leave? Michael has also met many high-status people in this company. How could he possibly give up such an opportunity? Samantha trembled as she knelt before me. She said, Miss Emily, I truly see nothing. I apologize for offending you. I will reflect on this seriously. I can do whatever you want. I just hope you won't blame Michael. All the mistakes are mine and Ryan's. That's all I have to say. She even wanted to bow to me. At the moment she lowered her head, I saw the scars on her back. They were still purple and blue. No wonder she gave in so quickly. If it weren't for my help here, if Michael were to step in, he would definitely be much harsher than I am. However, people in difficult situations always have unlikable traits. If it weren't for me, someone with connections, being here today, and she was just an ordinary working girl, then she might really be bullied badly. Ryan got hit and was a bit dazed. Blood was still dripping from the corner of his mouth. Michael was cautiously watching my expression. I, on the other hand, had no expression at all. Michael could only grit his teeth and continue hitting. I saw his hands starting to swell and turn red. I finally signaled him to stop. Without nurturing, there can be no education. A father has the responsibility to treat his elder sister like a mother. Michael, you are also half a father to Ryan. Then you tell me, how do you plan to handle this matter? Michael was looking down. He looked like a lost child standing in front of me. I'm willing to accept a pay cut and double the company's size within 6 months. Otherwise, I will resign. Michael truly has the ability. Otherwise, the partners wouldn't have made this background-less young man the president. Now he has brought it to this point. I also don't want to make it difficult for him anymore. I glanced at the colleagues present who were watching the excitement. My gaze was firmly locked on a few male colleagues who had just supported Ryan. Some seemed to have quite a few opinions about me. Why not stand up and say a few words? When you were supporting Ryan just now, why did it feel so bold? I looked at them with a faint smile. Emily, we were truly confused just now. It wasn't intentional. Ryan has said a lot of bad things about you to us before. We definitely won't bring it up again next time. When the two of them came out, they looked quite nervous. Oh, next time. Unfortunately, you won't have the chance anymore. This time I have decided to dismiss you in the future, as long as it's a company cooperating with our startup park. You probably won't be able to get in. Who said that just now? The industry won't hire you. Is that what you mean? You men really have a lot of ways to make money. However, with your appearance, it might not be easy to find an easy job. I helplessly shrugged. Every time I spoke a word, their faces both looked a bit bad. Emily, we are all colleagues. Don't shut us out of the industry again. We have already realized our mistakes. If you say such things again in the future, I won't be able to handle it. I'm begging you. Yeah, Emily, my wife just gave birth at home. I still have to support the family. You can't let me lose my job. I quietly listened to their complaints. What does your matter have to do with me? I directly sent their words to my company group. This group consists of the well-known company owners in the city. Everyone expressed that they would never hire such a morally lacking person. I made adjustments to the company's personnel arrangements, those who previously claimed to be core technical staff. In the absence of them these past few days, the company has been running just fine. After trying out a few interns, the company decided to let them participate in operational work. Now, everyone respects me greatly. There is completely no more disdain like before. This makes me feel a bit uncomfortable. My good sisters no longer pull me into conversations. They keep their distance from me. Ryan was sent home by Michael. Michael and Samantha got divorced. I heard that Samantha threatened Michael with suicide, but he still chose to divorce. This man is really determined. After handling everything, Michael personally came to my house with gifts. I didn't see him, because I was also preparing to leave the company. In this past year, I worked in human resources at a partner company. In fact, it was an experiment. I often see videos about workplace bullying, workplace relationships, and workplace sexual harassment on social media. As an ordinary worker, these issues really seem quite tricky, so I decided to experience it myself. As a result, I found out it really isn't as simple as I thought. Everyone knows it's not easy to go to work these days, but there are still some people who always think about causing trouble for others. After I resigned, I established a media company that only hires women. I set the rule. Everyone must rely on their own abilities to improve. Colluding for personal gain is prohibited. Creating a bad atmosphere is not allowed. At the beginning, my dad even mocked me. Women are usually more complex in their thoughts. They are prone to jealousy. I think the future of your company may not be very optimistic. It might be affected by internal conflicts. The development of a company cannot do without the participation of men. My father has some traditional views. I encountered many difficulties in gaining his approval. I don't believe I can't successfully run a women's media company. On the contrary, this gives me some comfort. The women in the company are truly outstanding. Through my selection, I found that they are not only tough on the outside, but also gentle on the inside. With their help, the company's development has been very smooth. Our relationship is like that of sisters. They don't feel constrained because of my status. Capable people are always like this. I admire them very much. At the moment the company successfully went public, I raised my glass. To toast my father, you see, this judgment, you were wrong.